I took the plunge and I bought the Last of Us Part 1 remake on my PS5.
Ooh.
Very
Yes, I probably shouldn't need to because I already have the Last of Us remastered. But I was like, it's been a long time.
It'll
since I
be
played
so
the
pretty
original
now,
Last of Us.
though.
And also, it
Yeah,
is. Oh
on a
my god, it is
PS5, yeah.
gorgeous. Holy shit! Like, and it plays a lot like in some ways a lot like Last of Us Part 2. In fact, the HUD is pretty much exactly like Part 2.
Interesting. But
Yeah.
I thought they didn't upgrade, like, they didn't upgrade the combat system. Like, you can't go prone or anything.
It is smoother. Like
Okay.
the AI are smarter, and it definitely feels smoother. But yeah, Joel can't go prone or dodge.
Okay.
Which I will say, that's the one part I was like, oh man, Joel, because I was so used to like, so used to like, in part 2 just attacking and then dodging and attacking again, just being like, you fuckers can't catch me, and just like it's so much fun.
More of a stealth game than it must be, I guess, or something. It seems. Or is the combat just different? I guess I don't know.
No, you can do either or.
Okay.
Here, Eric, I'm gonna show you. Hold on. Okay. So Eric, this is Joel from The Last of Us Remastered, which is like the upgraded version of the PS3 game that was released on the PS4. Compared to the PS3 version, it's just like an upscaled 60 frames. And then this is the PS5 remake.
Oh man.
That is a huge difference.
Right? Like, holy shit. Like, he almost looks like a different person.
I was gonna say it looks like more like Pedro.
Well, he looks more like he looks more like he does in The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because
it's like face shape is different almost.
Yeah.
They wanted to
probably make him look a little older too.
They want more continuity's sakes. Like, here, this is him in part 2. For example, because Joel is 51. And let me tell you, that guy at top does not look like he's 51.
No,
he looks like he does not look like a 51-year-old man. Oh, and just for more reference, I forgot how freaking broad Joel's shoulder was in the PS3 version. It's huge.
They're huge.
Yeah, he's built like a bodybuilder, and not like a 50-year-old depressed Texas dude. And Ellie,
those two are not mutually exclusive. I'm just gonna say.
Fair enough. But I think, in my opinion, the biggest glow up is Tess.
Yes.
Look at her. Completely different person.
Glow up.
Oh, wow.
I love that I love the changes that they made for her.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a lot. Yeah, I don't know, like older.
Because remember, she's supposed to be around Joel's age, and the lady on the left does not look like somebody in her late 40s.
30.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, she looks great.
That's cool.
I'm very happy with those changes that they made.
Yeah.
Everyone looks age appropriate and worn and tired.
Right, that's just haggard now more. It's like she's got more battle damage in the first one, but like it's just like more weather in the second.
the extra attention to detail in the remake is, I could go on it for hours. I don't want to, but it blows my fucking mind. Like, Joel's backpack actually gets more ripped up the longer you play. I noticed that. It's insane. Yes, like you see, like it has like bullet holes, and there's like little duct tape things he puts on it because the backpack's old as shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's a great way to experience it. I haven't played it in such a long time that I was like, you know what? Let me crank out the extra $1 and play this like the best way possible. The only negative is that the game does not have multiplayer, and I loved the multiplayer from part 1, but apparently
they're supposed to be working on it.
Yeah, like a full game. So like, this better be like the shit. I would love like an Escape from Tarkov style kind of like Last of Us multiplayer experience. That would be dope.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump in the intro. Welcome to the Game With Us podcast. We will discuss The Last of Us HBO episode 2, Infected. I am Liara, and I am joined by Mr. E or Eric.
Hello.
And Aidan from Irrational Radio.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? That's all Spanish I
know. Yeah, hi, I'm Eric. Or Mr. E, whichever.
Yeah, where should I guess we could start chronological order that Jakarta opening.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm very glad this episode's title is not the second half.
I was going to say, yeah, we had to start with that. Be like, Aidan was, or at least retains the potential to be right in his called shot. From,
prior. If I'm right, which I'm rarely right, but when it does happen, I'm gonna be a very happy boy.
You know what? I'm gonna throw in. There's a line from the game. I think the last episode could be called something along the lines of "This Gift."
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. Just in case Aidan's not right, I'm gonna throw out a possibility that maybe it's something else.
A hedge bet. That's right. That's a good call.
Please, Neil Druckmann. Please, Neil Druckmann. Please, Craig, Neil. One of you.
I assume the episode titles are finalized by now.
What if they weren't, though? Man, that's like, I feel like they've got to be more organized.
Well, yeah, Jakarta, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Oh, well, okay, so there's this other thing. Did you guys hear about the grain theory?
Yes,
thing?
I wanted to talk about that.
Okay, we can do Jakarta first.
No, that's part of it, because it ties in. It ties into Jakarta. So the first episode aired, and astute viewers noticed that Joel and Sarah do not eat any wheat-based products. Because Joel forgot the cake, they don't have the pancakes, they're offered biscuits, they don't eat those. She presumably doesn't eat the cookies, because they're raisin and not chocolate chip.
Right.
And then people who know things also pointed out that Jakarta is home to the world's largest flour and bread making factory.
Gosh.
And so the theory was that the fungus started from infected grain. And the Jakarta opening, the worker that was bitten was from the flour factory.
Right.
So what you're saying is bread started.
Yeah.
Essentially. So there's a couple other, one or two other things. So namely, Joel was on Atkins too, so he wouldn't have been for a while. That was one of the things I remembered seeing.
Oh, I thought that was a joke. I didn't think he was actually on Atkins.
Or, well, yeah, you might be right, I guess. I don't know. They only had, that's...
Either way, he did not eat the biscuits.
It's really funny to imagine, actually. That I didn't even... Yeah, anyway.
But yeah, speaking of Jakarta, I love... So, this episode was directed by Neil, who was the creative director on The Last of Us, the game. I love how, again, they're just throwing people who played the game for a loop. Just all right, just because you played the game doesn't mean you know what's going to happen. Because I was literally like, what the hell are we? I'm like,
what's going on? Right. Why are we here?
Holy shit. Backstory for the virus?
Yeah.
I love that we're getting that. Cool.
That was really a really cool way to start it out, too. Like the doctor, was it Ibu Rada, something along those lines? Yes, I think. Anyway, the mycologist, she was like, oh, am I, did I commit a crime or whatever was the first line we hear her say. And so I don't know, it seemed like she had no idea what was going on or anything leading into that, which was a trip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we didn't know and she didn't know.
Right. But
until they had her dissect a body.
Yeah, they send her in to go and, even looking at that sample, the officer stops the tech from explaining whatever. She's like, no, we need
let the expert draw her own conclusions.
Right. Yeah. And it was just you could tell it was this very high pressure situation, and she was getting more and more nervous as time progressed, kind of. It's I don't know, you got the officer who's even it's like, oh, if you get sick, make sure you run out. It's like he was already expecting that was like a likely, so he'd probably already seen this, and like other people had already yacked or something. It's just, it was the tension that got built through that scene. It was like really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, especially like at first, she was just like, "What do you guys talk about? Like cordyceps fungi only they don't grow in humans." And then I imagine when she like went into the room and they were like, "Oh, like why is there a body in here?"
Mm-hmm.
And then like it builds up to her seeing the leg wound, and I feel like she could probably like like she saw the bite and she was like, "Holy shit, this looks like a
I
person."
think she even asks that, and he like confirms it.
Yeah, I like the idea of her just being like almost like kind of denying it at first. Like, there's no way a person bit her.
And then she goes for the mouth.
Oh my god. Ugh.
And it was still moving.
And she was cool until it like curls up, and then
so
she's
gross.
running out, is like unhooks the air and booking her. It's like,
no, blame her. I get the hell out of there too.
Yeah.
And then the guard, whoever he was, like gives her tea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he must have been some kind of like a general or something.
Yeah, he's
like,
probably a
military.
Yeah,
like a high-ranking military officer.
Yeah, that's probably what he is.
But the and like it's like were there any other? I think it was like, were there any other workers missing? And he says 14. And suddenly she's shaking.
Yeah.
It's like, we need you to help us stop, keep this contained and stop it from getting out. It's like, it already is. It was 30 hours ago. There's 14 workers missing. We don't have the person that caused the initial infection. Like, oh!
And if it is infected grain, that was the thing where she's like, bomb the city, destroy the city to stop the infection getting out. But if it is infected grain, that grain likely has already in the supply chain and going other places.
Yeah, you're right.
So
that's
that whole segment of her saying bomb, dude. Oh,
like it takes that level of expertise kind of to realize, the military guy didn't say bomb. He said medicine, but she was like, no, fire. Like,
no, we are screwed. And when she asked to like be driven home to her family because she knows she has limited time left, it's man.
Do we think they actually bombed Jakarta? Because I wonder if we don't hear, I don't think in the first episode, what actually is on the radio. We just know something is happening. And even if you have this scientist that's like, you need to bomb, this military officer still needs to convince the government officials. So I'm wondering if maybe it didn't happen, or it happened way too late, or...
So Tess is talking about the bomb craters.
Right,
like a little later.
Yeah.
And she's kind of got this tone that she like, they like waited too long and it was too slow, I felt like. So that's like an interesting, I wonder, honestly, because it would be that's not an easy sell.
Yeah. I'm like, the scientist told you to do it, but then how do you tell,
Yeah.
How do you tell
elected official or something?
How do you tell them that's what you do?
Ugh. Yeah. That's not an easy decision.
I know. An amazing opening.
Yeah.
So good. I wonder if they're going to continue that.
I really hope
that was my question, is each episode are we going to get a little snippet of this is what happened before kind of thing. I'm enjoying it. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like a cool another cool way to keep world building.
Yeah.
Kind of in the background. And then, I don't know, it's kind of add different layers of tension, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Adding extra kind of characterization and layers to it that they couldn't do in the game, because in the game you were just following Joel.
Right.
And since it's a TV show, you can like pull out from people's perspective and, focus somewhere else. It adds that extra layer of like, this is happening worldwide. And I imagine we'll probably never get to see a Patient Zero or exactly how it started, because it honestly, like, it doesn't really matter. And
you're right.
Like, at least to me, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, I think,
I don't imagine a Patient Zero. I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah. I would have guessed I was gonna say, I was gonna guess that they keep like zeroing in, as it were, but bad pun. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right though. That like kind of in the theme sense, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's already occurred. That kind of. So I don't know.
I mean, on the flip side, I didn't think they were going to give us what as much as we've gotten. So they could surprise. They could surprise me.
There was another thing in there. The officer, he's talking about the people being executed according to procedure or whatever. It makes me wonder, and I guess, well, for starters, the difference between how he describes that versus responds to the like, oh, you need to bomb everything is like interesting. But the big, it makes me wonder if that's not like the start of Fedra in some sense, or the impetus of what's going to be Fedra's guiding logic or something anyway. I don't know. Whatever that procedure is, I guess. I don't know.
It's definitely like the progenitor to like the usual government response to this, since it's like happening so fast and there's no cure. The only way they can stop it is just by using the military to just kind of like go in full damage control and just kind of like quarantine everything. So I see what you're coming from there.
It's how America seems to have responded, basically. Which is a trip because like they sent the army out there, and like cordoned everybody off and stuff. I wonder if we're going to see how they get out and all that stuff or not in some of these earlier scenes. Like,
yeah, I think in the video game, and I'd have to go back and listen because I may be quoting incorrect information. We don't get what happened, but we do get like random radio snippets. And I think what happens in the US, they said that the government just can't, like, they mismanage the virus, or they appear to be mismanaging the fungus, and the military overthrows the U.S. government and declares martial law. I think I was like going to say you just replayed it.
Exactly.
I think that's what happens
because the whole point of the Fireflies, that they want to reestablish the branches of government.
Oh,
yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, because like the military took over. Because that was they had to, at least they felt like they had to, and the Fireflies.
Their symbol's even like a 3-pronged thing. Like that's good, nice. I like it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, that's cool
stuff. But yeah, play it, Eric.
It really will have to actually. That's man.
Well, it comes out on PC and like.
It's not on PC yet.
Right?
I didn't.
Chaos.
Hold on. I will look this up super quickly.
Oh, it was a PlayStation exclusive, right?
That's why. It sounds
that's why Xbox people didn't get to play it.
I didn't.
March 3rd, 2023. The Last of Us Part 1. So yeah, there you go.
Well, yay, PC people.
Get to join the party.
Speaking of games, I saw that apparently the sales for both the Last of Us franchise since the HBO show's release apparently have increased like 300%.
Oh my gosh.
That's why you go to PC.
Which is nuts.
Because more people know about this game now than, ever. Yeah, whole new era of gamers can now run into this.
There's so many reaction videos on YouTube of people who know nothing about the game and what's gonna happen, which is really fascinating.
It's cool. Yeah, they're like right. Weird to see something come right back like that.
Speaking of increases, episode 2 had a 22% increase in viewership from episode 1.
Wow.
That's
which is the highest viewership increase between episode 1 and episode 2 that HBO's had on any series.
That is crazy that it beat House of the Dragon's increase.
I was going to say, crazy. Even increasing at all seems, I don't know exactly what the normal thing is, but that's crazy. That's awesome.
As a YouTuber, I mean, I don't know about TV shows, but as a YouTuber, if you're doing a series of videos, a chronological series, general statistics show that your first video is going to get the most views, and then your viewership is going to drop. So the fact that the fact that increased almost a quarter.
Yes.
That's
insane.
Because that means, it's generally I think in TV it's roughly similar. Although this is primarily a streaming service. But I mean, you're talking about everybody who is aware of the, initial opening, that's like a big deal. They marketed really hard for a specific day or whatever. And then all those people you keep, essentially. You hope. And then add more. Well, I mean, if you increase by 22% or something, that mean, or you lost some, but the new people that you pick up were so much that, there's going to be some people who watch it and decide not to keep watching, right? One would assume weren't as interested. It's you almost have to be, but so it's interest is wild, like you're saying. I think it's got to work similarly, whatever platform.
But then enough people went to their friends and family and said, "You got to watch this."
Right. I just think the fact that it beat House of the Dragons increase. I noticed this before, but Game of Thrones and House of the Dragons, it's such a huge money milker. The fact that it beat that is insane. HBO is executives are looking at that and they got the money eyes and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Spin-off.
5 seasons, syndication.
We can Walking Dead the hell out of this, which I hope they don't. That would be the worst. That would be horrible.
We're going to get 5 seasons of this. I'm calling that shot.
God. Oh.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe the creative team will leave. But, I mean, I don't know that would stop them. Anyway.
I don't mind spin-off shows.
I'd do I'd watch a Tess spin-off.
For sure.
Yes. And speaking of Tess, I gotta say, I loved seeing, especially when playing this, simultaneously playing through the segment in the game, seeing Ellie and Tess
kind of bond,
develop this big sister, little sister relationship, and Joel just being like, "Ugh, just leave this kid already."
The grumpy man in the back.
The grumpy man.
Grumpy man in the back.
The grumpy old fart.
There were a couple different instances where it felt like a dysfunctional family vibe to me. It's like mom, dad, right, and the kid kind of, but especially right in that room when Ellie's pretending to turn or whatever. And she's like, don't. And
Joel's ready to shoot you. Please stop.
Yeah, and she's like, she's sort of like, yeah, okay, maybe that was a bad read on my part. I'll sort of not the right time.
I think the best thing about that is when she asks for a gun. And they're just like, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Later on, he's like, I got a free hand. Congratulations.
She's gonna keep asking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, she does in the game, which I'm so upset. Listen, I'm a little upset at Joel here. Joel, episode 2, he's already got an automatic rifle. When I'm playing the last episode now, I ain't got shit.
I was gonna say that's one of the things. Where's the bullets coming from there? But
I don't know. My dumbass decided, let's play The Last of Us Part 1 again. But you know what? Let's play on grounded mode.
No!
See how that works. And that's a horrible idea. But I'm gonna keep doing it. So I ain't got shit.
Oh, I think when I play it again, I'm gonna have to try grounded because I haven't played on grounded.
It sucks, but it's fun and it sucks.
The super realistic,
it's the hard, or whatever. It's the super duper hard mode. Yeah.
How is it without listen mode? Because that's my lifeline.
Pain. I generally have to put my audio and listen for footsteps and peek around corner like it's Metal Gear Solid or something. But yeah, I think also when they were going through the city, I know I said this a little bit at the end of episode 1, where I was like, holy shit, looks just like the game.
Yes!
But holy shit, this looks just like the game.
Does it?
The sets were so good.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
Like the city, the ruined city, it was really cool. It looked cool, and yeah, it was like well put together, like fit together. It didn't see, I'm sure they did CG, but you like wasn't aware of it.
It didn't look like CG at all. I'm like, where are you filming this?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, like the backdrops and shit are CG, unless the HBO is like, all right,
we're gonna go
just bomb this city.
I imagine the hotel and the museum have to be a practical set.
Yeah,
which is insane.
I was gonna say, I don't know how much of it was practical sets too, because some of that, they layer effects and stuff so much now to get like textures and do this, that, and the other. It's hard to say. And layering that makes that look good. Sure. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was a little of A, little of B situation going on, but I don't know. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I definitely noticed kind of like while playing this as well is just getting like all the cues that they're taking from the game and putting it in the show. Like, for example, Ellie hearing the screaming and asking, what the hell is that? And as well as like the reference to the fact that Ellie can't swim.
Do you think we're gonna get a pallet scene? Is Joel gonna have to find her a pallet at some point to float on?
Perhaps. I love that the scene where she's like, I can't swim, and she's just like, no,
smart ass. I love
that. No smart ass. Shallow water. You go walk.
It's a couple different instances. So yeah, that's like one of the things I thought was kind of cool is like they show the change in perspective kind of that just happens when a kid's around, right? Like Joel and Tess wouldn't have been playing with the bell or whatever, like they wouldn't, a lot of the jokes and repartee and whatnot wouldn't happen the same way it would. And like she looks out and talks about how like pretty it is or how nice the view looks in a couple different places.
Yeah.
It's kind of this cool, like, kind of seeing it from, or, experiencing it from their perspective. It's like a way I've heard parents talk about raising kids. It was like a cool way to show some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ellie's like completely sheltered. So when she goes out for the first time and she acts ridiculous, Joel's probably like, what the hell have you been doing all your life, you weird kid?
She's been locked in military
You're
school.
A weird kid.
Yeah, it's like her innocence is like a liability kind of, or lack of experience out in the world is that kind of, it's like a liability, but then
it's also really charming.
Right. It's like adorable.
Oh yeah.
The like pretending to turn thing. I watched it twice and that shit had me cracking up so both good. Times. The way she like coughs and scratches her neck afterwards. Right. I don't know what it is. It's just like, oh yeah, whoops. All right.
Yeah, wasn't smart.
I also loved when they had when Joel had to like boost Tess over and like they finally got one moment with Ellie and Joel, and you can tell Ellie was like trying to get to know this old grumpy dude, and she's like, so you and Tess, are you a
pass?
Just, like, one word responses, pass.
Okay, Joel had asked about the knife. He asked where she learned about it, and like she said the circus, and it was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. All right, fine. Screw
They're
this.
both sassy with each other. Right. It's so good.
Had me cracking up. He was just like, you little shit.
Yeah.
Like,
and this is kind of like maybe just overanalyzing it a bit, but like it almost kind of reminded me of like in episode 1 when he was bantering with Sarah. And I think it's just Joel just like, just not wanting to get close to somebody again.
Yeah.
Just being cold.
There's a lot in this episode. Like one of my notes was like, Joel is so closed off to just everything. Like can't let himself believe that Ellie could be immune. Can't let himself get close to her or attach to her in any way. Just the whole scene with Tess, like, can't even tell her goodbye, just storms out. It's like, so much is just Joel just cannot allow himself to be open or vulnerable because he just can't handle it.
Man needs a hug.
Yeah.
Like, desperately. A hug.
So I wrote, he's like, hope is terrifying to Joel. But like, what you were talking about where he walks away, that exit scene, I didn't think about that, but you're right, it is. It's part of that closing off thing.
I mean, they have that moment where there's a few seconds and they're just, the camera's on them and they're just staring at each other, and it's like, if there's going to be any kind of dramatic goodbye, it'll be here. And he just turns and grabs Ellie and storms out of the building, and I was just like, oh.
And it happens similarly in the game as well, because in the game, Tess was like, all right, there's like enough bad shit here that you feel there's gotta be like an obligation towards me that you feel. So like, take this girl, and like, please, do something with her that's positive, because you got to believe in something, Joel.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yes, it is. It was, but it's interesting that like Tess kind of has hope for the cure.
Yeah. Tess is more open to that.
From the first, almost like the first time we're talking, like it cuts away from Ellie in that like, patch of moss sleeping or whatever, over to them watching her with the guns, and like Tess is already like softer in expression and more open to the conversation at that point than Joel is, like, right up until the very end of the episode, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. They talked about her, seeking a redemption through that. And it's like an interesting, it was like the second she had a chance to kind of make up for the stuff that they've had to do to get where they are, it seems like she was all about that. And it's a weird connection that it seems like that's a pretty fatal condition, like having hope for the cure and stuff. Like a lot of people who really buy into that seem to not be long for the world. Which is an interesting thing also, it seemed like, through this. So, I don't know. That was wild.
Do you guys listen to the HBO podcast after the...
I do.
After the episode?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Do you remember... so, Eric...
I did not.
In the podcast, it has Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann and Troy Baker, who played Joel in the game. They discussed with Tess about... the idea of like giving her kind of more backstory, like think of the idea that she had like a husband and a kid who got infected, and she put down her husband, but she couldn't kill her son, so she like locked him in her basement.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So with that knowledge there, it kind of adds extra layers to her as like Ellie, kind of like giving her like a chance to kind of just like be a better, just motherly figure, I suppose.
Yeah, it's another second.
It kind of adds a lot of
a
lot of extra layers there, as well as of course, just being bit.
Yeah,
that's the major thing.
That definitely that'll do it.
Which I gotta ask you, Eric. How did you feel when the reveal she's infected?
So
did you see it coming?
So there was, okay, but it's not for a good reason. I felt bad about it. That's why I was like, so she's climbing up the rebar area, or not rebar, but like the collapse stuff. When she goes up there, there's rebar sticking out, and I don't know why it is, but I was like, oh no, I'm going to see her impaled on rebar in about 3 seconds. That's all going to collapse. And oh God. And it didn't happen, but I was already like, wait, crap, is she not going to make it? So when she's talking to Ellie on the roof, I was like, oh, that's some send-off shit. She's doing like some passing on her knowledge before she goes kind of deal. And it was even setting up like the mechanism through which that like horde was gonna come on later. So I was like, oh man, I totally did see that, but like I didn't feel like I earned it, I guess. I don't know. was accidental.
Mm-hmm.
But once it was in my head, it was like, oh crap, that's kind of pointing at it too.
You picked up vibes.
Yeah.
And the second watching, there was a couple points where you can see suddenly now she's got blood on like the side of her jacket.
On her shoulder.
Yeah, I noticed that too. The blood on her jacket. There's
another scene. There's like one scene where you can see there's actually blood on the side of her neck while they're like walking toward the Senate building, and she's like looking back. And but like I wouldn't have connected the dots probably. Oh, I also noticed. I think that one of the clicker or whatever, there was blood all over that clicker's mouth.
Oh,
that seemed like it was more so than the other one and fresher, but I was less confident that wasn't there in the beginning.
I didn't notice that
after a second watch, so I'm not sure that it wasn't always dripping blood down its front, but it was like, oh well, yeah.
Well, it kind of reminded me. So in the game, when they go to the museum, at a certain point, Joel gets separated from Tess and Ellie, and like they get kind of attacked by like runners and clickers and all that. So I always assumed that kind of separation, when Joel isn't there, that's when Tess gets bit.
The moment when Tess gets bit is the moment Joel actually reunites with them. If you replay that scene, so I thought it was funny because in the TV show they enter that floor in the museum, and then that bookshelf or whatever falls and blocks the doorway so they can't back out. Right. That happens in the game, except that Tess and Ellie make it to one side and Joel's stuck on the other side.
Yes.
And so you as Joel have to make it around and get to Tess and Ellie while they're fighting off these clickers. In the moment that you get to Tess, which I think is the moment she gets bit, she has a clicker that's pretty close to her neck, and she kind of like leaning up against her, and she pushes it off. And I think that's the exact moment she gets bit, is right as Joel, that very first second, right as Joel reunites with them. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which speaking of, so Liara, what did you think of the differences so far that they're dealing with the infected compared to the game? Like, they're not doing spores.
They're doing
It's more of like tendril thing, which honestly I feel like is like far more disgusting.
It is gross. It definitely ups the horror factor and the creep factor.
It's just disgusting. It ups the invasiveness of it.
I still miss the spores, but I do so I did do some research, and there is something called the Wood Wide Web, where plants can talk to each other through this fungal network. And the fungus works kind of like, our brain, our nervous system. And like if a plant is attacked by pests, they can send signals through this network to other plants to put up their defenses, which is kind of how it works in the show, where Joel shoots that one, and it gets this message to the others like, oh, someone's attacking us. And I really kind of like, because in the game, you make a noise and one clicker runs at you, or one infected runs at you, not necessarily a clicker. And then like all of them, just a swarm keeps coming at you, and it kind of adds this extra layer to the game of like, oh, they're swarming me not because I made a noise, but because they're all connected. And I just thought that
yeah.
I was like, that's a really neat layer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like in the game, it's just the AI telling, okay, we are in combat detective mode, fight mode, But it's really neat how especially like, seeing that whole field of zombies just laying down there, I guess being annoyed with the sun, which gave me super like World War Z vibes.
Yeah.
Just like seeing them all kind of lay there, and just like, it's weird seeing them like hate the sun, because like, in the game, there's a lot of moments of where you're fighting these zombies out in the sun, and I don't know if that was all about, but like the shade and all that. I don't know like if they did hate the sun, but like whatever, it's not relevant.
I thought that they were like eating stuff on the ground. It looked like there were like some corpses, some people, or they were all I don't know though. I wasn't 100% sure what they were all doing either.
Yeah, it wasn't completely clear.
Maybe it's like maybe it's like a photosynthesis thing.
I was looking like some fungi prefer shaded, humid environments. So maybe if you get like direct sunlight, it's too hot. I don't know.
But yeah, it was an interesting, like Tess was like, explaining that whole network concept as like a cool, even like in a video game or something like that, it'd be a cool way to explain the combat mechanics. But it's scary in the sense of like, it's like messing with a beehive or something. You just suddenly everything's coming for you when you mess with one thing wrong or something. I don't know.
That would be so freaking terrifying to play like in the game, and then you trip on something, and then there's an entire horde just about to come at you. I'm like, no, I can't throw a Molotov. I can't throw a Molotov at all.
That was so tense when they're walking the stairs of the museum, and it's just covered in all this like fungus and gross stuff, and
it's gross. It's so gross. And let me tell you guys, when I heard the clicks, I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, let me see them. And then I saw them, like, oh my god, they're so gross, but they're so fucking cool.
Hey, Liara here. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're enjoying the podcast, consider giving a like or leaving a comment. The YouTube algorithm favors engagement, so doing one or both of those things increases the chances of other people getting to see the video. Thank you so much for your support, and back to the show.
Looked so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what was your reaction to the clickers? Because you haven't seen them.
I think they were in the scene, the like preview scene or something.
Yeah,
maybe?
You probably saw a preview of them.
Yes.
So it wasn't like I'd never seen the models before or anything, but oh my gosh, they were really cool. It was very fun. It was also a trip that Ellie's talking about the stories she's heard, and she's talking about the like infected that blow up or whatever. And Tess says, God, I hope not. But then she describes the ones with their heads split open that see in the dark like a bat, and they both get real quiet. Yeah. It's like there's even a shriek sound in the background too, which I assumed was one of the things. It was like a nice little heads up for what's coming. It was like, oh man.
Yeah, because in the game, when you hear a really quick shriek, that means the clicker is like detecting something, and that's the game telling you, all right, stay absolutely still.
It sees you, or it heard something. Yeah.
But yeah, so they were cool, and it was a great environment to work them through too.
Yes, and because like Neil Druckmann, like I said, the creative director of the game, was directing this episode, so I can only imagine what it was like for him to like see things that he and his team helped create digitally in like a physical form, and like getting all the actors and the prosthetics, which they moved like literally just like the games, like very much similar movement, and like when they detected something, how exactly they'd freak out. Like, I love this scene where Joel steps on glass, and then it cuts to him for a second, and then out of view, the clicker just leaps over the table and lunges at him. It's terrifying.
It's so good.
I read an article that they brought back the same people who did the clicker sounds from the game to do it for the TV show.
Awesome.
Really? That's so cool.
There was something with, I'm assuming they're not the same people who are doing, like, in the prosthetics that are filming, but there was an interview with Neil said that they found actors who were fans of the game and, like, understood the movements, and so they were the ones that they put in the prosthetics.
Extras were killing, or what? I don't know that you count as an extra at that point.
I don't know.
Me, that's one of the main characters of the episode.
Clicker number 1.
Yeah, clicker 1 and clicker 2, killing it.
I was looking at them, and I was like, okay, how much of this is CG and how much of this is practical?
Looked like mine.
I was trying to see like if I could like figure out like what was
I think
what.
most of it's prosthetic.
Yeah, I imagine the only CG part would probably be around the mouth, because some of their mouths are kind of like little mandibles, like pretty extended. But I mean, the whole like chicken face kind of thing is like perfect, man. The scene in which Joel has to quietly reload
Oh,
his
God.
revolver because like
Yes.
even dropping one,
That was horrific.
I was like, Joel, there's a brick right there. Throw it over there and hide in the corner. I just did this.
I just did this.
No, I was like, listen, dude, all you need like scissors and tape, just crack the shiv, no problem.
Got this.
Come on. I did this a billion times.
I did love that they kept pulling stuff out of their backpack. Like they pulled out a bandage for Ellie and then they pulled out tape for Tess's spraying ankle. I was like, yes, please give me some crafting.
It's funny.
Seriously, I was very sad. It's like, I was hoping we get more Joel just randomly stopping the craft things in the middle of combat, but I guess that'd be unrealistic
or whatever.
I don't know.
No.
Stupid shit.
I did have, when I first heard the clickers in the TV show, I had a moment of panic where I thought I was playing the game, and I was like, oh my god, Joel, craft a shiv, hurry!
Yes.
Crouch, move! Like, we're not playing the game anymore.
Funny.
The clickers in the video game are, so like in the TV show, they have that moment where Joel's kind of like wrestling with it, like it's on top of him and he's got to push it off. If they get you in the video game, you're dead.
You're done. You're done.
If they get that close to you, you're dead. You can't do anything.
Yeah, like I was experiencing this in grounded mode. I mean, you can like melee them and punch them, but if they grab you,
you're gone.
Dunzo. Unless you have like a shiv, and you get that upgrade, you can like stab them. But like if they get you, it's like immediate crunch.
Yeah, so like Pedro Pascal's lying there with the thing on top of him. I'm like, dude, you're dead. That's not how this works.
That's it.
Like, you're done. Fade to black. Restart checkpoint. Yeah.
You died.
Terrifying.
Trust me, I have been getting a lot of fade to black restarting checkpoint while playing. It's my fault for playing on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
Anyway. But I love seeing them trying to combat it and like them like running away because like these things they're not like normal kind of like zombies because they will F you up like hard. I love the scene where like the clicker's on top of Joel and like Ellie has the light on it and he's trying to like shoot it to get it off him, which I will admit at that part I was like, oh come on, like you're making this too easy for them, Neil. God, they have no problem making me die over and over again.
They did take a lot of shots, it seemed like.
Yeah, they gotta up the drama for the TV.
Yeah, I know.
So some people, I was watching some reactions, some people were wondering if like the fungus had kind of made some kind of armored shielding.
Okay.
With the way that it was like splayed out, if that was maybe protecting them from gunshots somehow.
I figured it just distributed the vital stuff.
Yeah.
Like across the body. So the more fungus is doing, the less normal organs matter or something. I don't know.
Well, there is actual fungus that will eat an insect's internal organs. It'll eat everything except for the brain, and you just keep going.
Right. They just
maybe
what's
that is the case.
That's what it's like. It's like just sort of built around the nervous system now or something. Yeah. So you got to do a lot more damage.
Yeah. Well, if we're going by the game's rules, I remember like higher caliber rounds have a higher chance of kind of like one shot kind of clickers because I remember in the game playing it, typically like revolver, if you get a good headshot, they're done. But like I saw like Joel kind of capped one with his revolver, which he shot like 4 or 5 times, and then once he shot with the rifle like a few times because I love seeing the desperate kind of aim swing because one, it is like the games because like the games is kind of like that, but also because these clickers they twitch and move around so quickly, and there's if you shoot them in the chest, they're just gonna tank it and keep coming for you. They don't care. They don't feel pain.
It's not good. You don't want that.
So, oh my god, it reminded me of it was funny thinking about that because the earlier Tess was telling Ellie like you're not immune to being ripped apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an
My
important
God.
distinction to make.
Yeah, like just because you're not going to get infected doesn't mean you're invincible.
Yeah, and the best part about them is that they get more gross. And I'm excited for you to see, Eric. They get much more gross.
Cool.
Much more gross.
Cool.
And shit, guys, speaking of gross, should we talk about it?
The kiss?
The kiss. That's what I was calling it too.
I mean, what else are you gonna call it?
They mugged down.
Oh, my God.
That was gross.
It was super gross. And I wonder, is that like because they already knew that she was infected, so it was like a different procedure?
So someone on Twitter had made a post that was like, hold on, wait, I'm gonna pull it up. They said, what was that kiss all about? Oh no, wait, come back. Come back. I was looking right at it. They were asking, damn it, Twitter, it reloaded. Well, yeah, what was that kiss all about? Was it just the fungus wanting to connect with other fungus? Was it them trying to accelerate Tess's contamination? Or was it just, we want to make this scene just a lot more horrible and scary and play into the horror genre? And my response to that was, I think it's D, all of the above.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think the answer is just yes.
Yes, the answer to that is yes.
But it was, man. Oh, that's such, it went far more unsettling than what, just cutting away as she gets bit or something. You know what I mean? Like what they might have done otherwise.
I mean, think about it. Like, if you're like, I don't know, putting myself in the shoes of the cordyceps, I don't know. If you see something that is not going to resist, right, and your whole goal is you want to spread more of yourself and infect others, why would you violently attack it?
Right.
When if it seems like it's quote either like willing to turn or can't do anything, just like, all right, like make it easy on me, and like I think even the most disgusting thing is kind of the way it was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Neil and Craig described it in their podcast as like almost like a lover's embrace, but like the tentacles kind of like going in her mouth. It's like so invasive and violating. And
I definitely took that as a join us kind of moment, and Tess is so far gone at that point that like she doesn't even have the willpower to like push it away or anything. She just kind of,
I figured it was, I need to buy time to get the lighter to work or something, but I don't know, I guess either way.
Because like if she ran, they would have torn her to shreds like instantly. Because like like she's about to turn, so it didn't make much of a difference.
But I also think maybe at that point, I don't think at that point she had the will to run either.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that. That it would, it starts to mess with like the way you make decisions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Plus, she was trying to buy time for them. So, Eric, in the game, Fedra comes in and she gets gunned down by Fedra.
Oh.
Which I liked what they did in the TV show better, personally.
I was going to say, I think that's less like, I don't know, good as a storytelling beat. So was Firefly already gone by the time you guys get there then, too?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same deal, like Outbreak, people turning on each other thing?
No, I think it's just Fedra shows up to gun down the Fireflies.
I was wondering. I think that works way better, or the way they do it here works way better with the grain connection then, because Ellie has that sandwich from the beginning, and like Joel and Tess have like beef jerky. And they're like, what the hell, you got a chicken sandwich, what is this shit about? But like if they have a grain in their rations, maybe nobody got bit,
Oh shit.
I didn't even think of that. I would assume that they fixed the grain issue by now.
I haven't seen anybody else eating grain regularly.
20 odd years later.
But well, if they don't know, right? Maybe that doesn't get.
Oh, that's an interesting.
It seems
theory.
like that should have survived. That knowledge should have survived with Fedra, but I don't know.
That's an interesting theory.
And I think another reason why they probably changed it, which Craig said at the podcast, like this is like so far out of the
It doesn't make
QZ
sense.
that Fedra goes like way out of their way to kill these fireflies.
Yeah.
Like super
and
far.
it also, like, Marlene had this whole tactic of let's draw Fedra away. And if you have Fedra show up, it's like, oh, wow, you did a great job, Marlene.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Right. Seriously.
Yeah. In the game, it never really made sense to me why Fedra came back. Because Ellie and Joel show up, the fireflies are dead. Even if they chased the fireflies all the way out there, why are they there when Ellie and Tess and Joel show up?
They're like, okay, guys, it's plot relevant for us to show up now.
Yeah, that seems like that's, and it's less. I guess it's just as or gut wrenching or what have you. It's like soul crushing. Either way, like for Tess or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, it's still soul. It still crushes you, absolutely.
But I think getting there and they've been beaten by the infection is like. That's just It works so much better for its story. It seems like it's exactly what Tess is even further committed, and Joel's even less interested in this up until realizing that Tess is infected, and now it's like, oh my god, this is all worthless if I don't make it not.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Which by the way, the dialogue in which Ellie's like, holy shit, she's infected, and Joel's saying, show me, straight from the game.
Really?
Literally straight from the game. The only thing that isn't from the game that I noticed was really cool was when Tess kind of like walks up to Joel, and then Joel kind of like instinctively kind of like walks back. That's like new, but the dialogue, even when she says "oops," right?
Yeah.
And I was like straight from the game, and it fucks me up because that makes me chuckle every time. Like, oops,
oops,
I got infected.
Oops, I'm dead. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, laugh or cry, I guess.
That was the other circling back the museum set. Like every item in there was like straight from the game. The hotel, like just the way everything looks, everything in there. Ellie going over and ringing the bell, like.
Right, dude. Even like the camera transitions, like when they go over the catwalk, right, and they like Joel's like, so is that everything you asked for? And like it cuts away as soon as Joel climbs down the ladder. It's like literally exactly how it cuts in the game, which I didn't even notice this until I played it. They even transition scenes similarly to how they do in the game, where it's kind of just like they fix on one location, and then immediately it's like a jump cut to like a different point in time. Like it's the exact same way.
It feels at times, like it's shot like a video. I think I said something to that effect in the discussion in the first episode, but it does. Like one of the scenes that really stuck out for me was Joel getting behind that counter right before he steps on the glass with Ellie following him as they're like crouching behind this table or whatever. I don't know if that's straight out of the game, shot for shot or whatever, but the way they're like crouch moving and the way the angle is set up, it was like, oh, that's like straight up how a third person stealth game would put this scene. I don't know. Yeah, it just looked a lot like it to me.
Which, by the way, I imagine they probably won't have Pedro Pascal crouching that much because, like, let me tell
that's
you,
a lot.
For Joel to be doing that at 51 years old, that's hell on his poor back. Which, I mean, hell on anybody's back, but I mean, which reminded me of the scene where like they all go up the stairs and Tess is like, "Holy shit! Oh my god!" And Ellie's like, "I was fine." He's like, "You try climbing 10 flights of stairs at our age with our knees."
I loved that. I thought that was great.
God. They can't get artificial knee surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
So that museum, like the Bostonian Museum isn't a museum, but Independence Hall is in, I think it's old State House. I can't remember. But anyway, it's the place that you meet Hancock in I think. Anyway, it's in Fallout 4. It's one of the locations that you spend time in, which is interesting. Independence Hall, that's like a place that's there. It's on the Freedom Trail, which is another like weird thing. There's connections back to the like independence. movement. I don't know. It's just like a weird thing that they're like pointing to. I'm pretty sure the place where the Declaration of Independence was signed. I'm assuming that's like they'd name it something else, but it was like I don't know. It was like a weird wiki dig result that I got there. That's well less connected, but it's just like, oh man, I'm pretty sure that's where you hang out with Hancock in Fallout 4.
Crazy, just random, since we're on random stuff. Random fun fact at the hotel scene where everything's flooded and a frog hops across the piano. They were supposed to have another duck walk across the piano, and they couldn't get the duck to do it. And so
really?
Yeah, they couldn't get the duck wouldn't do it. They had a fake frog to entice the duck to go eat. And it wouldn't do it. And then I guess they were just like, well, let's put a frog on here and see if the frog will do it.
Wait. So the frog wasn't CG?
No, apparently not.
Just a frog.
That was a real frog.
No frogs were harmed.
There's apparently a lot of love for the piano frog on Twitter, and so Neil Druckmann put a picture of the duck that they're like sitting on the piano. He's like, the piano frog happened because piano duck wouldn't walk.
That's such a scary scene too, though. Just like random piano notes being played. I would lose it. I would not be able to comfortably walk around in that place.
Like, there's a clicker.
Like, I don't care what that is. Like, oh my god, this place is haunted. I'm out. Like,
right. That is so funny. And honestly, I mean, very cute.
Yeah, I was scared. I was looking at it like, oh my god. I wouldn't survive. I wouldn't make it in here.
I was looking at it like, this is so pretty, and then they got in the water, and I was like, I hope you don't have any open cuts or anything, because I don't know what's in there.
Yeah, she's like, this is so gross.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I might be on Joel's shoulders or something. Just, for good measure.
Joel, carry me.
Yeah, Joel, carry me. That might happen a lot, actually.
Give me a pallet, Joel. I can't go in the water.
One thing I will say, I love the scene at the very end when they see the explosion and like both of them are kind of just petrified, and then Joel kind of just walks off on his own, and he doesn't beckon Ellie at all, and like you see this look of terror, of like shock on Ellie's face, and she's like, I warmed up to somebody and I lost them again.
Right.
Yeah. And now I'm stuck with this guy who...
With this asshole.
Well, and she probably assumes that, he's mad at her because Tess is gone. And
But she probably is.
Yeah, that was such a like heartbreaking shot of Joel just walking off and not even, just like leaving her there. Just like...
Yeah.
You get what both of them are going through. It's just like,
Because Ellie's got to feel guilty at this point, essentially, right? Like, I mean, everybody's doing all this stuff, getting themselves killed to get me to point B.
Get her. Yeah, because in the game, after the whole talk with Tess, Joel is like, all right, Ellie, get your butt over here. And they kind of like this whole thing where they escape the place and all that. And it's definitely a lot more amiable on Joel's side. Like, he doesn't show off to kind of grumpiness, but yeah, definitely in the TV show, like Joel is probably just like beyond pissed, especially since it's definitely implied that like these two were like they're partners both in the business sense and probably in the romantic sense, honestly. And like it's the person that Joel has, the only person he's really opened himself up to apart from his brother, and he's just gone because of this snotty, bratty, smart ass kid.
Yeah.
There's another miracle cure, supposedly. So it's, I think that's like they keep setting up this, they don't really want to be together. Neither of them wants this. There's like that line, like Ellie's saying, like, I didn't fucking ask for this or something to that effect.
Yeah. It's like, me neither.
It's like, no, but no one did. And it's like the only glimmer of hope. It sucks. It's wild though. It's really a fun story. Yeah, I don't know. Very cool. Not fun. Fun's the wrong word.
It's a far more tragic buddy cop movie.
Super well executed.
Ellie's the good cop, and Joel's the extremely grumpy, super bad cop.
Super bad.
I think they're both bad cops.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Ellie's not like a good cop.
True.
She's just like
she's good relatively to Joel.
Prank cop or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Ellie will act like bad cop, and then Joel will come in and actually be bad cop. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Joel will come in and be like, "You should have talked to the kid because you don't want to deal with me."
Yeah, right.
Well, Joel's the type of guy who just won't say anything, and he'll just like put a pull in your kneecaps.
Yeah.
And then Ellie will talk again. Like, he's not really a man of words. He's a man of action. Like, honestly, like Rick, this guy would murder Rick Grimes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
probably. I mean, without a whole lot of concern about it. That was
yeah.
It was the Ellie asks about the like, oh, does it ever bother you like knowing that they used to be people? And he's like, sometimes. And then she's like, what about that guy last night? Tess comes back, and we just have him sort of sit there and have that like moment of like, well, I didn't really feel that bad about that actually.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how I read the expression, but I don't know. Maybe that's not.
He's like, well, I was protecting my dog. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Stupid kid. Stupid child kid.
Don't even like her.
Yeah.
She sucks.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see their relationship grow as the series continues.
Oh yeah.
The rapport back and forth.
They're stuck with each other now, so
yeah.
Yes.
I do think it's interesting that the show Joel keeps getting this like just a little bit further. Like the overarching goal is, I want to get to Tommy, but everything with Ellie is like, just get her here and then it'll be fine. And
yeah, get her to Bill and Frank's.
Yeah, get her to Bill and Frank and it'll be fine. And it's like, well, we got a whole series, so it's not going to be fine.
You're going to end up taking her all the way west yourself, obviously, right? Like, I mean, it's got to be.
You got a whole TV series.
Yeah.
When is it going to sink in? Oh, I'm stuck with her.
Yeah, this is not a temp job. This is my career now.
Yeah.
But that was such a fantastic episode. I've heard rumors that apparently the third episode is like the best.
I have too.
I heard that somewhere.
Huh.
A lot of the people who got previews of the show and did reviews for it have said that like episode 3 is amazing.
Which, Eric, do you watch the previews? Like, do you watch like do you watch like the next week?
Oh,
stuff?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
do.
Okay.
I watch those. I didn't keep the only reason I was like debating listening to the podcast too, but then I read the first comment and it gave me the grain theory, and I felt dumb for not figuring it out myself. So that I sort of just I was like, well, I can't look at any of this now because then I'll learn things. I just feel dumb then.
So it seems like next week will be about Bill, and Bill is a character from the game, who's
Ron
not
Swanson.
Ron fucking. If anyone can survive an apocalypse,
it's just literally Ron Swanson too, which is the part that
I love it.
Honestly, if anyone can survive an apocalypse, it would be one.
He's already ready.
Swanson.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's ready.
He's got his compound.
If anything, I feel like
2 of them.
Yeah, he's been ready. He's a carpenter. He can build his own stuff, the traps and all that.
The like joke about Arby's or whatever.
That was so funny.
That felt like straight out of Parks and Rec to me.
This is not an Arby's. God. Arby's doesn't give away free lunch. It was a restaurant. And the look on his face, like, what?
Like, damn it, he got me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I would love, it'd be so funny in this grim kind of show. They just start cracking jokes like that. It's just like, oh my god, what show are we on?
Episode 3 is the comedic episode.
there are beats that are funny. Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, the thing.
No, but there is really funny stuff.
The third time I'll bring it up is Ellie pretending to turn. Like that was in the midst of a really tense scene, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm just laughing my ass off. That was so funny.
Yeah. And in an alternate universe, Joel shot her immediately.
We didn't get any of this series. It was just a bad Tuesday for Joel.
She twitched. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, all of Ellie's little quips just add so much more comedy to.
Yeah, I don't know how I was supposed to know that.
But God, it was so good, and I will say, I figured it'd just be for the intro episode, but it seems like the episode is going to be the usual HBO length of like an hour long, which is I'm fine with. You know, they don't all need to be like. What's the first episode?
An hour and
10 minutes.
15, I thought.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but it was there's like you've got like 5 or 10 minutes for the post stuff. Usually, it looks like so. I think.
Hour 20, yeah.
It's crazy how they don't feel like they're that long when you're watching it.
No.
Like, it ends and you're like, no, I need more. Give me.
I mean, that's how you can tell, like, when the series is good, you know, when, like, it's about to end and you're like, no, I don't want to end. I want it to end. Keep going.
Episode 3 will be an hour and 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Wow.
That's so interesting to me.
I think we're going to actually get some backstory on Bill and Frank, which is really exciting because we meet Bill in the game, but we don't really get much backstory on him or Frank. So
yeah, because Bill's only in the game for about like an hour or so, 45 minutes-ish.
Okay. I think it's a little longer than that.
Not even that long.
Maybe the pre-sequence next time is their experience through the outbreak.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to focus on Bill's experience with the outbreak and how he became the Ron Swanson.
I want to say a bit more, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, okay. No. I was going to say I'm sure that there's a clear and present answer.
But the fun part is there should be, stuff that's we are also getting a bunch of new stuff, hopefully. So we'll all be new viewers.
Right.
That is one of the things like I really love that the show is doing is the new stuff that it adds just gives context to what, it doesn't feel like they just threw something arbitrarily in to pad stuff out. It's like, oh, this makes sense in the context of what we already have. And I look forward to, I'm like, what new stuff are you going to feed me now?
Right. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited for. I'm just excited to see more of the infected. Like, I want to see the bloaters, the big boys, the big boys.
So
it's gonna be super gross.
Are they gonna? Because they're like spore-based deal, right?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
That's what I was. So when she says, "Oh God, I hope not," I was wondering if that was like a laugh line for people who played the game because they weren't doing the spores anymore.
I wondered what that was too, because like you said, she says, "Oh God, I hope not." And in the game, Joel knows, like they know what those are. So yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna play that.
We'll see.
I really hope they don't make the bloater start slinging tentacles at people like it's Resident Evil. That would be disgusting. Like it's fucking Nemesis.
They've done pretty well with the tentacles so far, so maybe. That would be so gross. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about
it. I'd rather the bloater just rip my face off.
Yeah. No, that seems better. Not good, but better.
The only thing that we didn't really talk about was in the game, Ellie doesn't get bit for a second time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. I forgot that. And she's like, there's going to be one of us.
Yeah, but I thought it was really smart of them to do that so that Tess had a direct comparison.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right. Because then, like, she does even say that. Like, look, this is where I am at this point. We were both bit in the same, like, incident. I didn't even think about that.
And also, I mean, it also cuts to her immediately as soon as he said that, which for me, I was like, oh, I know what that means. Probably. And then I was like, yeah, I do know what that means. So like, they wouldn't change that much.
That's another kind of comedic timing moment that they added where, you know, Ellie realizes she's been bitten again. And she's like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Why? But then it gives like Joel's now worried about her instead of looking at Tess, which is like
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, he's focused he's focused on Ellie possibly turning and isn't paying attention.
Yeah, that does all play together really well, honestly.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, maybe the first one didn't take, which I feel like at that point, I'm just like, Joel, you're in denial.
Yeah.
Take the good news.
You're in denial.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Take the W.
And then Tess is like, listen, shut up. Okay. Yeah. Take it.
You need this to be a thing that can at least be possible. At that point, especially, because she's like, I'm literally dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, you know what? Go, get away from me. I'll be fine. And Joel's like, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the game, Joel's kind of aha moment for Ellie's immunity is when they walk into a cloud of spores and Ellie doesn't have a mask. And
yeah.
So normally, like, if you walk into a cloud of spores, you start coughing and wheezing instantly. It's like instant infection. Okay. And they walk into it and Ellie's just like going on about her day.
Breathing in spores.
And Joel's like, how are you breathing this? Okay. So I was like, we don't have spores. Where's that aha moment? And I guess that was another way of like, hey, she got bit again, Joel.
Yeah, how many times is she gonna get bit and not turn here? It seems, it's right. Like gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point she's just gonna start like, being the like, I don't know, chew toy or something. Like, it's all right. Let me throw an arm in there. And I don't know. It's probably not a great strategy, but it seems like you could get away with it.
Especially if she, like, I don't know, loses a piece of finger.
Right. Yeah. It's not a sustainable defense, really. You'll run out of arm meat eventually.
Right. And, she's a scrawny lady, But I will say, in my game, Joel has gone bit far more than that. So, far more.
Oh, wait. So is that a thing? So that's not like you're not going to get infected by
He means he's dying. He means death.
Oh, okay.
No,
that's what death is.
I've gotten
Gotcha.
killed.
I should have assumed that's what it was, but.
No, so how the game works, right? The animations, it pretty much cuts away as soon as Joel gets bit. Because, like, instead of showing you a graphic death scene, it shows it pretty much like he dies, and it cuts away at the exact precise moment he dies. And in my mind, I kind of see it as like a kind of showing like the build up to it, and then like kind of like letting us fill in the imagination of what happens afterwards. Also, like, I imagine they don't want to do like a thing in Dead Space where there's like this super long and graphic kill animation. Which I think would be cool, but different strokes and all that shit. It also lets me restart checkpoint faster.
That's right. Yeah, you're gonna be dying regularly. You don't want long drawn out.
I am, but I will say that's why I'm very glad with the PS5. Thankfully, the loading screens are like 4 seconds.
Nice.
Yes, but. Yeah, I don't mean to like direct people, but like if that's all, did you want to close this out then, Liara?
Yeah, you guys sure you don't have anything else? Because that's everything on my list.
I can't find anything else.
Okay.
I don't write stuff down because I'm dumb.
I'll call it good though.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week with Episode 3.
Yeah, Woo! Thank you for having us, Liara.
No problem. Yeah. Thanks for joining me.
This has been a ton of fun. I'm so excited to keep this going.
I'm super excited for next week. This has been great. So thank you guys so much.
Hell yeah.